It's the moment that this channel has been waiting over 13 months for. Sky Clark statement game, Carter. Of course, it had to come in a buzzer-beating loss where the game-winning jumper gets hit on his head. He played great defense, though. Sky, you played your ass off tonight. Great defense. Of course, we're talking Texas surviving against Louisville. 81-80 was the final score. Max Abmas with the March Madness style pull up off the dribble, tough jumper for the win. Somehow Louisville, I mean, they were on the verge of victory here. Like, let's not make any mistake about it. This wasn't just like they hung around, tight little game. Like, Louisville had the game. Oh, yeah. And I honestly thought they outplayed Texas for most of the game here until somehow they just, it's hard to even say they stumbled down the stretch. Just Max Abmas hit the big shot. So where are you at? Because Louisville's like objectively horrible, and Texas was both of our preseason Final Four picks. This is not a good result for our narratives.
No, this isn't. And I don't want to be extremely mean by saying this, but Louisville today, for the first time this year, actually looked like a kind of a basketball team and like did like basketball team things. So in this game, Trey White was being guarded by Max Abmas for a majority of the game. Trey White was like, I'm 6'4", 6'5". Max Abmas, not 6'4", 6'5". I dribble ball to basket. He too little to guard me. I score. That gets points for Louisville on the board. And it worked to perfection. It literally did. Instead of just throwing it all around the court to anybody every which way, you went to your bread and butter. Trey White was playing well. Sky Clark was playing well, like we mentioned. Like, guys were just doing things and making plays and playing good ball. So it's like it's impressive for Louisville. It is. It's impressive for Louisville that after everything they've gone through, even though it's early in this year, but last year on top of it included, they were able to hang in this game and honestly had the game if it wasn't for Max Abmas doing what Max Abmas does. So credit to them. But on the flip side of this, my Texas Longhorns, I'm scared. This can't happen. I'm sorry. It can't. Like, I know I just gave all that credit to Louisville, but I'm seriously concerned about my Longhorns, and I can't really pinpoint what it is. But the one thing I do want to talk about is obviously Tyrese Hunter got hurt in this game and he had 4 fouls, so he was kind of saddled with foul trouble. But there's just a lot of guys on this team that were taking more shots than Tyrese Hunter, and I believe that Tyrese Hunter might end up being the best guard on this team. A lot of my projections for Texas Longhorns are Abmas and Tyrese Hunter being this very dynamic 1-2 punch backcourt, and they didn't really get that performance out of him tonight. And I don't really know if you have a reason why, because I don't really see a reason why we didn't get that performance out of him.
Other than foul trouble, I don't have a specific reason for it with Hunter, but I can pinpoint what's wrong with this Texas team if you'd like me to.
Why do I feel like I know what you're going to say?
What do you think I'm going to say?
Does it have anything to do with the guy who's been there forever?
Not really. No, this is larger. It's very early for this, but I'll say it. I picked this team preseason Final Four. It's Sunday, November 19th. I'm out on Texas.
Oh, come on.
I'm selling it all. I'm selling it all.
You're going to leave me by myself?
Yeah, I'm leaving you by yourself. Here's what's going
crazy.
on. Here's what's going on with this team. Here it is. You said Max Abmas didn't shoot like himself. We sure that's not himself in the Big 12? Are we sure? I think we're going to see a lot of 6 for 19 nights from the guy who looks like he's the freshman playing on varsity. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Max Abmas. There's arguably nobody in the country I would rather see be awesome this year that's not Doug McDaniel than Max Abmas. It was great to see him hit the game winner. He has the clutch gene. Of course, he's fun, all of that. I think he's going to have a lot of 6 for 19 nights in the Big 12. Like, you're telling me he's not shooting 6 for 19 against Houston or 6 for 19 against Baylor or 6 for 19 against Kansas? Like, these programs that he's going to have to face are killers, and they're big. They're big guys. They're not guys he was going up against at Oral Roberts. And Louisville, like, is a bad team. Like, Sky Clark's a good player. I truly believe that. Tonight, White was really good, but, like, Louisville is not the best backcourt he's going to see this year. And I think Abmas' struggles were more about who Abmas is than, like, he just didn't shoot the ball well. Speaking of other guys, because it's not just an Abmas problem, Tyrese Hunter, to me, tonight was who Tyrese Hunter was all of last season. He was the guy who Marcus Carr clearly outplayed and became the center of the team when it was supposed to be Hunter's team. Like, we keep projecting that Tyrese Hunter will be better, and then he keeps kind of not ever getting better. Like, he had a really good week to start last season and then was kind of not really ever heard from again. It was like in and out 6-point to 10-point games. Like, I just don't think he's an impact guy the way you and I want him to be. This team starts Brock Cunningham, plays him 31 minutes. I don't think that's going anywhere until Dylan Dessou gets healthy, which he's on an indefinite timeline right now. Dylan Mitchell, again, projected the jump. All guys, NBA guys who come back for the sophomore year. Dylan Mitchell looks like the same guy from last year right now. He doesn't look like he made any jump. So the only thing to like with Texas for me that's like on paper, ooh, what an upgrade, was Caden Shedrick, who was really good tonight, 27-7. He was fantastic. And it still was barely enough to scrape by one of the worst teams in high major basketball. It's and then you look at the bench too. Like they're not getting anything from the bench other than Horton. Horton gave him 10 points. He didn't hit a 3 tonight. But like, to me, this team right now without Dessou has 6 players. One of those 6 is Cunningham. And we gave the starting backcourt a ton of credit when in reality, I think there's struggles based on who Abmas and Hunter are that we didn't want to admit.
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing, though. Max Abmas has played a lot of college basketball. He's been in a lot of positions. He's also had shooting slumps too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, he was a prolific scorer at Oral Roberts. He also had slumps like that. I feel like that happens to guys who play like Max Abmas. To me, you can't sell your Texas stock because all you got to do is get there with Max Abmas. All you got to do is get there with this lineup, and you can make it happen and get healthy. Like, I'm taking Max Abmas on my team as a guard on my team over a lot of guards in this country just because I believe that he can be a guy in that moment. And even, you said tonight, like, he had a 6 for 19 night, he had a 2 for 10 night. He did. But at the end of all that, he hit the shot to win the game. And that should count for something.
Max Abmas played 2 games last season against high major opponents. One was Duke in the NCAA tournament. He went 4 for 15 from the floor, 3 for 9 from floor. They got blown out. One was Houston. He went 1 for 13 from the floor, 1 for 9 from 3. They got blown out. This is who this guy has been against high major opponents his career. Like, I know he had the magical run with Kevin O'Banner. It was awesome. You're not always going to be guarded by Dwayne Washington Jr. and EJ Liddell. Like, so I'm skeptical. I'm scared, and I get it. I bought a lot of Texas stock in the offseason because I let you convince me, and here we are in a dogfight against Louisville as 18-point favorites, man. On the Louisville side of things, you and I 2 weeks ago came on here and said Kenny Payne's not going to make it to Thanksgiving. Kind of feels like Kenny Payne's going to make it to Thanksgiving. Does this loss buy him the season now?
Season? Yeah, actually, probably, yeah. Actually, yeah, it does. It really does. And good for him.
No additional comment, just good for him?
No, just good for him. He's definitely going to make it now.
What would this have done to your Terry stock had he lost this game?
Yeah, I mean, it was hurt either way. But I'm still staying strong.
Okay. Sky Clark, one other thing. Obviously, he's our guy, but let's not forget, like, Sky Clark was a 5-star guard. Okay, like let's not come on here and like be surprised my man can go for 25 and 4 against Texas.
Yeah, he's got that.
He's got that. Like that should never have been in question. We can question other things about Sky and the programs he plays for, but like, we're not going to question that Sky's capable of getting 20 points and hitting some clutch shots against Texas.
Yeah. And also shout out to the Illini Twitter accounts that whenever he has an awful game are making it their bread and butter to cut up his highlights and throw that over. That dude also just went very, very dumb against MSG. Let that be known.
While we're talking about Illini guards.
At MSG, my apologies.
While we're talking about Illini guards that had really, really good nights tonight individually, Jaden Epps finished with 31, 6 for 13 from 3. He hit a clutch 3 to send this game to overtime. He had 20 points in the final 6 minutes of this game into overtime. Epps and Clark both looking individually stellar tonight.
All right, everyone, before everyone gets all up in a tizzy, that is great for them. Still don't want them on Illinois this season.
Okay. I was just checking. I'm allowed to check, right? I'm allowed to check.
At least Jay Neps. I still wish Sky was in Champagne. I don't care.
I just want to be at Legends with Sky on a Thursday night so bad. So bad, man. Although I mean now we can hit the Bourbon Trail with Sky.
True. What's the most famous bourbon? Jack, is it Jack?
No, Jack is whiskey.
What's the most famous bourbon?
I mean,
Evan
depends.
Daniels?
Depends on if you're like looking for high end or not
Jameson?
high end. Jameson's not bourbon.
No, I got it. Jim Beam.
Isn't that whiskey? Aren't you just naming a bunch of whiskeys right now?
Okay, the ones
Makers. No, Makers is Makers.
Makers is whiskey.
What is can we get a difference between whiskey and bourbon, please? Can somebody please come tell us?
Wait, I'm looking.
Isn't
like
bourbon a type of whiskey?
Oh yeah, it is.
Bourbon is a type of whiskey.
Yeah, so like Bullet, and all that.
Buffalo Trace.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I want a nice Makers with a circle, with those circle ice cubes with Sky.
I have one final sip of my Jack and Diet. Sky Davius. This drink goes to you, my friend. It's great to see you thriving. I'm sick that Max Asmus had to hit that shot over you, but it couldn't have happened to a better young man and a better player. We're glad to see you thriving here at Sleepers Media.
Cheers.
Does the cup you're sipping out of have a picture of your dog on it and say your dog's name on it?
Yeah, it does.
We'll see you next time.